Hey, Brett Weldele. I'm back again with some more distress marker techniques, so let's get sketching. So lately I've been doing a lot of little photo study paintings of various photos I've taken from around. And I've been only using distress markers and distress stain to make them. So I thought I'd share some tips on how you can integrate these two systems effectively and simply. And to do this, we're going to do something a little different than I normally do. I get a lot of emails where people are like, I really like these techniques, but I can't draw. So today we're going to switch things up a little bit, and I'm going to give you some tracing tips. I'm going to take a high contrast photo. In this case, I've got a picture of my cat sitting in a cardboard box, and then take a sheet of watercolor paper in this instance and a light box, and I'll show you techniques on how to trace and interpret what you're seeing, and finally paint it. Okay, first things first, I'm going to lay down some distressing to create a color base from which to work with. I'm going to use frayed burlap and rusty hinge to do this. Start off with a little frayed burlap, and I'm just going to rub some down. This can be fairly light, but we're just creating something other than the white of the paper. And then take a little bit of rusty hinge. We're going to use rusty hinge as our atmosphere color in this piece. I'm just going to lay some in here just to warm things up a little. Everything is going to take on an orange hue once I do the next step, which is going to be light boxing. Okay, I've got a picture of my cat in the box. Lay down. I'm going to take the same color that I just distressed with, rusty hinge, as the distress marker. I'm going to use just the pen tip, and then I'm just going to trace this out. I'm not going to really be too concerned about being too careful about this. I'm just looking at the dark and light areas and just being really loose about this. I think drawing is always a little more interesting when it is a little more unpredictable. Just keeping things loose, just looking at those darks. Some writing in here, I'm just going to block it in. Some quick sketches. Got some eyes. I'm going to flip over to the brush side and pop in this Amazon logo. And there's the swoosh there. I'm going to draw a little border on it. I'm not really concerned about making completely straight lines. It's going to be kind of loose. Okay, we have a cat. Get rid of the light box. Okay, I'm going to start off with yet more rusty hinge. I'm going to block in all of the areas that were black on the image. With rusty hinge. So we're just going, this is the distress stain version. And just a little bit of water on the brush, like not much, and then you can just lay this straight down. And we're just going to fill in the black areas. Again, just real quick, real kind of loose. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is sort of an under color. Basically what we're saying with this is all of the light, the major light source that is coming through here is an orange color. And then we will have to pick a color that is opposite to this to make the shadows. And with that, we're going to pick a blue. We're almost done. Okay, it's a little kitty. At this stage, I'm going to start working in some darks. So, got some frayed burlap. I'll just start adding to this. This is really one of the most fun parts of this technique, where you're just sort of building things up. It's all about layering this. I found distress inks to be super awesome at creating multi-layered colors that really are vibrant. I'm going to take something slightly darker. I'm going to take some walnut stain. Gonna run some in here and then around where the probably the darkest areas are supposedly being. A little darker over here, a lip. Okay, we're going to dry it a little bit. Okay, that'll do. Okay, like I said, we need a opposite color. So I'm going to take some weathered wood, which is a blue-gray, and I'm going to paint in all of the shadows with that. And what that's going to do is create an opposite complementary shadow effect. So it's going to be a little blue in there. Do its front. And it's going to be kind of cool going through here. Now if the pens kind of streak a little bit, it's okay. When layering distress ink, it'll basically start rubbing away at the layers underneath it, and it creates kind of a cool faded effect. This whole area under here is going to be in shadow, and then I'll just run some of that. A little darker. Okay, one last dry, and then we're going to put on the finishing touches. Okay, now with the last step, we're going to take markers. Use a few here. I'm going to take a light marker, frayed burlap, which is the same color that I initially started with, and just do some outlining. I'm just adding some more depth to some of the imagery going on. Just creating a sense of depth, really. I'm going to take Rusty Hinge, which is the color that I used for the orange. Add some more streaks of that in here somewhere. I'm going to take Vintage Photo, which is a medium brown. And then just start adding some details to the face. Maybe some whiskers. Nose. This is kind of the fun step where you can just start adding little bits of detail in. Adding some fur detail. And lastly, I'm going to use a really dark color, a walnut stain, which is a really dark brown, and just do absolutely all the finishing touches that I want absolutely dark. So first I'm going to reinforce the border on this. And then I'm going to start just laying in some of the darkest areas. For some detail. And just like that, we have a cool little painting. And you can apply this to anything. You can start off with not just Rusty Hinge, but any color in the Distress Ink line as your atmosphere color, and then just lay colors on top of that with an opposite for shadows, and you're good to go.